Hello, in this presentation, I'll discuss fundamental rights. People in democracy enjoy certain rights. No democracy can function in the absence of basic rights. The basic rights specified in Part 3 from Article 14 to 32 of the Indian Constitution are the fundamental rights. They are included to ensure physical, mental, and moral development of every citizen. They generate a feeling of security amongst the minorities. Fundamental rights establish strong roots of a democratic constitution. They provide the democratic structure essential for rule of majority. They also provide social, economic, and political justice and serve as a check on the government. Fundamental rights are an integral part of the Constitution. There are some peculiar features like rights guaranteed by Article 15, 16, 19, 29, and 30 are available only to the citizens. Now I'll talk about some of the basic features. Fundamental rights are universal, meaning each and every citizen enjoys these rights without any discrimination. Rights are not absolute. There are certain restrictions. These restrictions have been imposed as a safeguard against violation by others. For instance, the right to freedom of expression does not include the right to insult or humiliate others. Moreover, if rights are violated by the state or a person, we can approach the court and restore them, which means these rights are justiciable. Fundamental rights are all inclusive. They safeguard social, economic, cultural, and religious interests, and each right has been described in detail with its scope and limitations. The fundamental rights can be suspended during national emergency. They are suspended keeping in mind the safety and integrity of our nation. Parliament has the power to amend the fundamental rights. However, they cannot completely do away with the fundamental rights. The Indian Constitution provides six fundamental rights, which are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. Initially, there were seven, but later on, right to property was abolished. It is now only a legal right under Article 300A. The fundamental rights supersede all other laws, meaning laws which do not support or justify fundamental rights are invalid. Now, one by one, let us discuss all the six rights in detail. Right to equality is provided in Articles 14 to 18 of the Constitution. Article 14 guarantees every person equality before the law and equal protection of the law. We have rule of law, meaning law is supreme. Everyone, whether the president, a farmer, a laborer, student, or a businessman, all are treated equally. Article 15 prohibits discrimination against any citizen on grounds of religion, caste, gender, or place of birth and provides for equal access to public places. However, the state can make special provisions for women and children. Article 16 provides equality of opportunity in respect of any employment or office under the state. The state may reserve seats in favor of any backward class. Article 17 abolishes untouchability. It is now a punishable offence. Article 18 abolishes all titles such as Rai Bahadur, Zamindar, or Talukdar as given during the British rule. However, titles those of academics and military distinction such as doctor, colonel, brigadier are exempted. The Constitution of India contains the right to freedom in Articles 19 to 22. Right to freedom provides us with various rights which are six fundamental freedoms to Indian citizens, protection against arbitrary conviction, right to life and personal liberty, protection against arbitrary arrest. Let us discuss these rights one by one. The right to freedom in Article 19 guarantees six freedoms, which are freedom of speech, assembly, association, movement, residence, and trade and occupation. Freedom of speech and expression enables an individual to participate in public activities. We are free to convey our thoughts and feelings to others, and it also helps in strengthening our ability to participate in decision making. All citizens also have the freedom to assemble peacefully without arms. This right includes the right to hold public meetings and to take out processions. The third freedom under Article 19 is the freedom to form associations or unions for a lawful purpose. For example, trade unions, political parties, or clubs. Next is the freedom to move freely throughout the territory of India. The right includes not only visiting places, but changing the place where the individual resides or works. Though reasonable restrictions can be imposed. For example, restrictions imposed on movement and traveling to control coronavirus. We Indians are also free to reside and settle in any part of India. Next is the freedom to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade, or business. However, there is no right to carry on a business which is dangerous or immoral, like smuggling. The freedoms provided under Article 19 are not absolute. State can impose reasonable restrictions in the interest of public order and for maintaining the sovereignty and integrity of India. These freedoms remain suspended during national emergency, meaning government takes away these rights for time being. Article 20 provides protection against arbitrary and excessive punishment. This right is provided to any person who commits an offense. It lays down that a person shall be punished only for an act which is considered as an offense by the law when that act was committed. A person cannot be punished or fined more than the limit prescribed in the law. A person also cannot be punished more than once for the same wrong. And also, a person cannot be forced to be a witness against himself. The right to life and liberty is the right from which all the other rights emerge. Without it, all the other fundamental rights would be absolutely meaningless. Article 21 includes two separate rights, and both these rights are inseparable and go hand in hand. These two rights are right to life and right to liberty. Right to life includes everything that a human being requires to live a quality life. It is the most expandable right. From time to time, many rights have been included in it, like right to livelihood, right to health, right to pollution-free air, right to privacy. The right to personal liberty basically means that a person is free from arrest and detention without authority of law. It includes all the freedoms which are not included in Article 19. For instance, the right to travel abroad. The right to education is also now a part of Article 21 by 86th Amendment Act 2002. According to it, the state shall provide free and compulsory education to all children of the age of 6 to 14. Article 22 provides rights to an arrested person. It lays down that no one can be arrested without being told the grounds for his arrest. If arrested, the person has the right to defend himself by a lawyer of his own choice. Also, an arrested person has to be brought before the nearest magistrate within 24 hours. However, these rights are not available to an enemy alien, meaning a foreigner belonging to a country with whom we are at war, and to a person detained for being a threat to the law and order or to the unity and integrity of the nation. Now, let us discuss the third fundamental right, right against exploitation. It provides for two provisions. First, abolition of trafficking in human beings and begar. Begar means forced labor, which was practiced in the past by landlords and now has been declared a crime and is punishable by law. Trafficking in humans means buying and selling of human beings or human body parts, which is also prohibited. Second, abolition of employment of children below the age of 14 years in dangerous jobs like factories, mines, carpet weaving, handloom industry, and domestic work. Next fundamental right is the right to freedom of religion. It provides religious freedom to all citizens. The objective of this right is to sustain the principle of secularism in India. Citizens are free to preach, practice, and propagate any religion of their choice. Religious communities can set up charitable institutions of their own. No person can be forced to pay taxes for the promotion of a particular religion. In a state run or funded educational institutions, religious teachings cannot be imparted. Cultural and educational rights is the fifth fundamental right. It protects the rights of cultural, religious, and linguistic minorities. It enables them to conserve their heritage and protect them against discrimination. As India is a country of many languages, religions, and cultures, the Constitution provides special measures to protect the rights of the minorities. Any community which has a language and a script of its own has the right to conserve and develop them. No citizen can be discriminated against for admission in state or state aided institutions. All minorities, religious or linguistic, can set up their own educational institutions in order to preserve and develop their own culture. For example, Aligarh Muslim University, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University. The sixth right, right to constitutional remedies, is considered to be the most important fundamental right because it ensures the protection of other rights. It empowers the citizens to approach a court in case of any denial of the fundamental rights. Article 32 empowers the Supreme Court and Article 226 empowers high courts to issue various kinds of writs to enforce rights. Writ is a formal written order issued by a court. These writs are prerogative in nature, meaning through these writs, courts only restore rights and not decide the case. Let us discuss the various writs. Habeas corpus. It is a Latin term which means you should have the body. The writ is issued to produce a person before a court who has been detained or imprisoned and not produced before the magistrate within 24 hours. The person would be released if such detention is found illegal. Mandamus. It is also a Latin word which means to command. This writ of command is issued by Supreme Court or High Court when any government, court or public authority has to perform a public duty but fails to do so. Certiorari. It is also a Latin word meaning to inform. It is issued by Supreme Court or High Court to cancel or reverse an order of the inferior court or public authority. Prohibition means to forbid or to stop. The writ is issued by the Supreme Court or any High Court when a lower court tries to violate the powers vested in it. It prohibits the lower court from continuing the proceedings in a particular case. Quo warranto. It is also a Latin term which means by what authority. The writ is issued to restrain a person from holding a public office to which he is not entitled. To conclude, fundamental rights protect the dignity of the individual and create situations which can help every human being to develop his personality. These rights were included in the Constitution to establish a government that works according to the laws. Fundamental rights protect the liberties and freedom of the citizens and prevent the establishment of a dictatorial rule. They are very essential for the all-round development of the individual and the country.